You are never going to see bore-splitting Barras playing on the freeway with Supras, twin-turbo Lambos, Audis and Mercs. Bore-splitting Barras is a new catchphrase.
A split bore?
If you've watched Full Boost before, you might be familiar with George's No-Mang VS Commodore.
100%.
It has a Barra conversion, which was done about 4 years ago, and it's a very neat car, but some people don't like the cross conversions, Ford and Holden.
This is all wrong.
He should be tied to the Hills hoist and thrashed within an inch of his life for sticking a Ford engine in a Holden.
How dare you?
Why not keep it with the V8 Holden or the LS? Well, hang on, what engine was in this, Luke? And why is it called No-Mang? In hindsight, it probably would have been more interesting if we kept that engine in it. The V6, the dirty V6. It probably wouldn't have sounded any worse. Barra thing has been done to death. I'm sick of Skylines. Bit of a segue there. I don't know what Skylines has got to do with his car, but a 1,000 horsepower is pretty easy these days. Easy, Luke. 1,000 horsepower. Oh yeah, easy as, yeah. Where are the hardcore LS guys who do what they can? Sorry if it sounds terrible. It's always hard to read when the grammar just doesn't make sense. Where are the LS guys who do what they can to make max horsepower? You don't see any 3,000 to 3,500 horsepower LS like you do in the USA. Don't know what this has got to do with a street car.
Everything.
3,500 horsepower, Jordo, just every day of the week, no worries. Can't say I've seen any Barras or RBs and JZs making that. This guy's really going down off a tangent here. It started off about the Barra and the Holden. What's that got to do with Project No-Mang? Luke, these days it's whack on a turbo and thrill the schoolboys with 1,000 horsepower. Disappointing. Disappointed! Yep, okay. Let's get one thing straight here. If he's just throwing numbers out like that, first of all, he's never built anything, and he's never even been in a 1,000 horsepower car.
You take that to the bank.
1,000 horsepower is disappointing. You need at least 3.5 on the street. 3,500, yeah. How many 3,500 horsepower cars do you reckon there are in the States? And here's a little tip for our old mate that just recently the 4-cylinder record was broken by a GM Ecotec engine. 4-cylinder. 4-cylinder. At 582, at what, 242 odd mile an hour? That is quicker than any LS has ever been down the track. I think an LS has been like 246 or 7 or something. But the ET's slower, isn't it? No, it's very close. Slower ET, slightly more trap speed. But my point is, that car's not making 3,500 horsepower. Like, what is this guy going on about? Video he did recently was Doug's Mint BF F6. Bit of a tongue twister there, Jordo. It's called a BF F6 Typhoon. FPV. Anyway. Get it right. Anyway, the car's faultless. It's done 1 million passes. Just keeps slowly chipping away at that ET. But, hey, just to interrupt you there, just on the weekend at the Ford Holden Nationals, that ran a 1.35 in the 60. On a 17-inch radial on IRS, it's very fast for one of those. It's irrelevant. Tanks. It's irrelevant. Rubbish. If he ran 9.0 at 150 mile an hour, running only 20 PSI, I'd be impressed. The bloke's driving a grenade on wheels. Only 20 PSI. What's that called? He has got 1 point that he is driving a Barra, so those engines apparently only last 2 to 3 weeks, yeah? So he's living on borrowed time. What's the boost level got to do with it? There's other factors, compression ratios. 20 PSI though, this isn't the Summer NAS from 1997. That's the only factor. If you're running 150 mile an hour on 20 PSI in a heavy Falcon, the car's going to be pretty laggy and lazy on the street, isn't it? Because you're going to need a pretty big turbo to do that. So how much boost would this Falcon be on? 35? And that turbo be pretty much maxed, is it? Top of my head, I think it's a Precision 75, 76, something like that. That's pretty much out, yeah. But Luke, apparently it's a grenade, even though he's been driving the wheels off this thing all over Australia. Recently competed in a drag challenge. And then the next week or whatever, he's back out racing it again. And also on the weekend, at the Holden Ford Nats, he drove that there. He doesn't trailer that car anywhere. You said a line in this video, which is just sacrilege. But the most important part, it doesn't have one of those god-awful screamer pipes.
Say that again.
God-awful screamer pipes.
What did you say?
Why do you think I put it in there? Well, there's a few that weren't happy with that.
And then sitting and waiting for the fish to bite.
But it's not really fishing when it's the truth. You are never going to see bore-splitting Barras playing on the freeway with Supras, twin-turbo Lambos, Audis and Mercs. Bore-splitting Barras is a new catchphrase.
Split bore?
Does this guy think it's the streets of Texas and Melbourne, does it? What? As if there's Lambos and twin-turbo Lambos and Audis and whatever doing 300 k's an hour down the Eastern Freeway. Yeah, rightio, mate. Every time I see these comments, it just reeks of jealousy. It's like the guy's got this killer street car and you've got to get on there and just comment that apparently it's going to be splitting bores and can't keep up with the Lambos. That car has I think a Nispro 4-inch exhaust system on it, no screamer. Unacceptable! It's whisper quiet with a 6-speed. For you Barra owners out there, that is a perfect combination. Because let's be honest, Barras don't sound good.
Hold up, wait a minute.
Some sound good.
There's a disclaimer. I mean, legal says we're completely covered.
Full race engines. You know, you look at ones like Dynamites and that sort of thing, D-stroke type engines. Yeah, they sound unreal. But that's not what most Barras sound. That's the 1% of Barras. That's not most of them.
It's quite the disclaimer.
Full Boost merch. Always got fresh designs in the house. We've got tees, hoodies, stubby holders, bottle openers, hats. Actually, we don't have hats, do we? Lots of stickers, but whatever you need, Christmas is around the corner. It's going to be here before you know it. So order up, get them in early and get them out. Make someone happy. Look, speaking of Fords, new Ford Ranger Raptor issue could require engine replacements. Apparently some of these brand new Ranger Raptors have been running rough. Reportedly, some have broken valve springs that seem to be the cause and they're misfiring. Potentially engines will need replacing. Well, I've heard the real reason that they're going to be recalled is because the sound is so bad that people are thinking about putting Barras in them to improve the sound. Like that's like a GR Yaris exhaust note times 2, which means that's seriously bad because Yaris is just up there with pretty poor sounding exhausts. Putrid. What late model car actually sounds good with an exhaust on it?
Name me one.
There's not many cars you can buy right now, as in like new cars for sale at the moment, that actually you would say with an loud exhaust sound good. And I don't mean supercars. I'm not talking about supercars. I'm talking about Audi 5-cylinder. That is one. Very nice sounding. That's probably the only one I can think of right now. Are there any Ranger Raptor owners out there who have had issues with these things yet? I've seen quite a few on the road. Our WRX, you know, they had supposedly had an issue with the oil pickup, and I had mine looked at by Subaru, and it did have the sealant, whatever, in the pickup. Anyway, I haven't really heard of people breaking engines, but apparently it's the biggest problem known. You know, they're all going to blow up. But so many of these problems, a couple of cars might have an issue on the internet, but it's so overblown that all of a sudden, apparently every car's got it. One person has an issue with a certain car, and it's just, oh, why isn't this being recalled? Why would they do a recall on a couple of cars? But like, you know, they just do them individual basis. But what would have fixed the Ranger Raptor? Needs a V8.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Hey, when you look at the times that snot rocket's running in the States, yeah, a Coyote would be a pretty good engine transplant into a Raptor. But let's be real here. You can make these Raptors as fast as, but they're still a big lifted four-wheel drive that doesn't corner and doesn't brake. Out of the box standard is probably as fast as you really want one to go, yeah? Speaking of new cars that should be banned, because we've covered this relentlessly, Toyota's got the new Tundra coming to Australia. It has a 3.4 litre V6 twin turbo. Customers who sign up to be among the first 300 people to take delivery of them will be asked to sign a contract with strict conditions that ban them from sharing their ownership experience on social media and compel them to meet a number of other requirements. They're also not allowed to fit any non-genuine accessories to the car. They have to get the car serviced at the first 1,000 Ks, which on most new cars it's offered. They literally just have a look at it. They don't do anything, but it's completely optional. With this, no, you've got to take it in. And then after that, you've got to get it serviced every 3 months. 3 months? How annoying would that be going for service every 5 seconds, it would feel like? This is just inspiring you with confidence, isn't it? Buying your new car purchase. And it's sort of weird coming from Toyota, Geordie. Isn't that the main thing people buy Toyota, because of reliability? They're being converted to right-hand drive, I think, in Australia. And I reckon this is a customer, I mean, they even said it's a customer trial, but it's got very weird requirements, restrictions on it. I reckon they're doing this to see if they can spot any issues before they actually properly sell them. I'm guessing they'll wait for this trial to be over before you see them in showrooms properly. I don't know. Why would you want to be part of that if the car's so restrictive? But I mean, really, like, why are they even allowed on the roads?
Oh, won't somebody please think of the children?
Yeah, that's a fair point. They don't fit into car parks. They got, what is it? What's the symbol for the small peepee? Is it this one? Remember that ad campaign they did a few years ago about the hooning, and it had the VL. The ladies running around. Didn't it have the VL? Yeah, but it had the ladies. Yeah, it had a VL. Yeah, and everyone was just putting doses on it. I've said it a million times on Bench Talk and online. I will never understand why people get so irate over what other people drive. It baffles me. Speaking of irate, this just sums up this country. Super Cheap had that big ad. It depicted hooning. We can't have that. So apparently there was one person complained as usual. All it takes is one. And the ad was pulled. Is that right? In a conspiracy tinfoil hat in myself.
Folks, I'm an expert.
This was deliberately done because look at the marketing they get out of the, it's been banned. Therefore, what do? I better go watch it now. But the dumb thing is, it might get pulled off a TV, but it will sit on YouTube. And to be honest, most of their audience, who watches TV? No, I don't. Just grey nomads, yeah?